Hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Virginia and Lainey. Hi, Lainey. Lainey, it looks like
Hi.
we're in this big, crazy, I don't know. It almost looks like we're in the same room, but we're not.
Well, it kind of looks like I'm in the public library, but you're in like the public library's rare reading room, like the rare
Yes.
books section. That's kind of what you look
Well,
like.
that would make sense because I'm a rare breeder.
Oh,
Or maybe my parents were rare breeders. Hello. Anyway, everyone, thanks for watching. We hope you're well and warm and dry because we're in New York and it's raining like crazy outside.
yeah.
So, yeah, we want to talk to you about some cool stuff coming up. So, Lainey put together an Edelweiss catalog, and you can follow along, follow the bouncing ball. Remember that? And this is so cool. Lainey, thanks for doing this. This is really
Yeah.
wonderful. Um, we recently had a Writers to Watch. I'm sure you all know about Writers to Watch now. We do it once a month. We took the summer off just to give everybody a break, but we came back and did a Writers to Watch just what was it, 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and I you can go to our YouTube channel, you can go to Facebook and pull it up there on the Library Love Fest page. But it was a really cool idea. It was Lainey Mays's idea, and I loved it. And it was all about why don't we do authors that have co-authored books? So we had typically we interview 4 authors of 4 books. This time we did 6 authors of 3 books. It was really, really interesting. Lainey, what did you think? I mean,
I
I
thought
know
it
you
was,
like, but
yeah. I thought it was great. I thought that I feel like every time we go in, we don't really know what they're gonna say, especially when you're putting so many different authors in together. You don't ever know about their experiences or if they know each other. And so I learned a lot of things and answered a lot of questions about collaborators. And I
mm,
like that your pull away at the end was kind of like you all thought your relationship was more important than the book. So you didn't want to sacrifice being friends for write and instead of writing this book. And I thought that that was really cool. Also, I thought that everyone would do it again. No one was like, "Yeah, it was really hard. Can't wait to get back to my writing only." Like they all really enjoyed it and they kept each other really accountable. I don't know. It was really cool.
yeah, that was really cool. So if you weren't able to watch it, highly strongly suggest that you do
Yeah.
recommend it because it was really interesting. I love that. I love when you know, it just gets you learn something new, and it's
Yeah.
really and they're all very different. But as you say, they all had that one thing in common. Friendship first. Like, is this gonna screw us up? Because it's not worth it. Really neat.
Right. And
So
I put that link in the comments, but I just wanted to shout out that we have a new crowdcast situation. You probably got 10 million emails from me last week or 2 weeks ago, but Crowdcast has changed up its platform, and that means all of our old events are now archived. You can still watch all of those videos. You can still get to it. You can still watch them on Facebook and our YouTube channel. Like, don't worry, but our ones going forward use their new platform. So where you are today, congratulations, you did it. And you can sign up for like general notes from us and you'll know when we go live, and just make sure to come to the 2.0 for Crowdcast. So we have both of those, and I will, whatever I put in the chat for Writers to Watch, go ahead and sign up and you'll get all the new notifications. So I just want to throw that out there.
sweet. So one of the books that we talked about, as I say, they were all wonderful. Um, but this book, Rebecca Not Becky, which goes on sale in December by Christine Platt and Catherine Wigginton Green, is a really interesting book. It's about these 2 mothers, one black, one white, both very upper class, and the one mom who's got a little girl, kindergarten age, she and her husband need to leave um, their sort of, you know, sort of upper crust home to move to this upper crust white suburb in Virginia, which is something that they don't really want to do, but they sort of need to do because his mom is in this facility for people with Alzheimer's, and it's a wonderful facility, and she needs to be there. They can afford to have her there, but they want to be closer and keep an eye on things. So they move. She doesn't really want to go, and she's she's living in Atlanta in this black oasis, and her friends and they bid a tearful farewell, but off they go. And then you meet this woman, the white mother who's living in Virginia, and she is the chair of the Parent Diversity Committee at her daughter's school. So her little girl is the same age as this little girl of this African American family that's now moving to this very white neighborhood. And so the mom who lives in this affluent, her name is Rebecca. She's championed racial diversity in the community. So she's very excited that there's going to be a brand new black family moving in because it's lily white. And so this is such a great read because there's so much to tick off. One of the authors said, this book delivers on a lot of different levels. It could be a story about families that have, there's elder care, there are issues with, family members. There's mothers who are raising their children and trying to balance their relationships with their husbands and keep the fires burning, but trying to sort of stay relevant in what they're doing because they're both sort of stay-at-home moms. And then there's, of course, this racial reckoning, and then how they relate to each other, these two moms. And one is so very well intended, but a bit over the top and trying to champion the cause. And now she's got somebody to help her champion it. And so there's so much to it. It's a great book club book. I just loved it. And I love the authors who both have such wonderful backgrounds. And and again, it was very interesting to hear how they spoke, how they worked together to get this book out, because the chapters alternate between the two different characters. So it just goes back and forth and back and forth, and very interesting to hear how they got into the head of their character in response to what the other character was saying and what had happened and what had transpired. And it's great. So anyway, Christine Platt, she writes literature for children and adults that centers on African experiences, past, present, and future. She's got a master's in African American studies. There's Catherine Wigginton Green is a writer and a filmmaker, and her that focuses on, I'm reading now, obviously, but I want to make sure that I do justice to their bios because they're incredible. And their stories focus on strengthening human connection and understanding. And she has a documentary, I'm Not Racist, Am I? That continues to be used throughout the United States as a teaching tool for starting racial dialogue. So they really bring their chops, what they know, what they are entrenched in, and it works beautifully. I've gone on way too long because we have lots of other things to talk about, but I do really enjoy this book very much on many different levels. So I hope you do too.
Yeah. And then just quickly, I want to tell you about the other two authors that were there. We had Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone for Holly Jolly Ever After. This is the second in their series, their Christmas Notch series. And this one that is a kind of mix match. We still have what did they call it? They said it was I can't remember the word they called it. They were like, we like to write some kind of, but anyway, hot, sexy books, but I can't remember what the word they used for it was. But this is the second, and you can read them separately, but it's set in this kind of forever Christmas kind of hallmarky town where they make all the Christmas movies, and it's like an old boy band member, I think they said Joey Fatone-esque, which all the NSYNC people seeing all of that resurgence, this is exciting. And a kind of goody two shoes actress who has to now do a little more racier scenes and how he's going to help her out with that. So it's super fun. and a good Christmas story. And then we had The Phoenix Crown by Kate Quinn and Jane Chang, two big historical fiction authors coming together. And I mean, it's just a powerhouse. And then having them to come together is crazy. This one is the San Francisco fire in 1906 on the search for the Phoenix Crown. It goes between two women's lives and how they're affected by the earthquake and the world around them at the time. Okay. Is that it for, oh, I put the writers to watch link in there so you can take a listen if you missed it. All right, moving on. This is a story that I know Grace, our other member of our department, is really excited about, and I am too. I can't put this book down. It is so good, called Rainbow Black by Maggie Thrash. I could just read you like the one line and you would be sold, but I will tell you more about it. But listen to this. This is immediately I was like, I need this book. So it says Rainbow Black is part murder mystery, part gay international fugitive love story set against the 90s satanic panic and spanning 20 years in the life of a young woman pulled into its undertow. I mean, that's perfect. I don't know, like whoever wrote that, good job. It was amazing because it sold me immediately. And this book is funny and dark and has a lot of twist. I did not see coming. I feel like you don't expect as many twists as there are. You'll just be reading, be like, oh my goodness, I did not see that coming, even though it's not like a murder mystery. It is, but it's not a thriller, it's a literary fiction novel. But it's this young girl in the 90s who lives with her parents. She has an older sister who's kind of, you know, crazy, does her own thing, has her own life, and she's a lot older and she lives further away. Her parents own a daycare, and so she's always, seeing these kids at home, kind of get away from them. They're very kind of free and of the earth. They go outside, they have goats and they have all this farm equipment, and she just loves her life. She loves her parents. Something weird happens when she's younger with this boy that she's friends with. Her mom has a weird situation. She can't really make sense of it. And then when she gets like the next year, her parents in a raid are taken and arrested because there's all of this talk from all of the kids that used to go to this preschool that they have been abusing them, and they're Satanist, and they've said all these crazy things in front of them, and it's kind of like a domino effect. After one kid says it, everyone says yes. That's what happens. And so from then on, we go and see this main character, Lacey, go through all of the trial and her parents trying to reach out to her through jail, her sister moving back in who's crazy and wants the attention, and you see her meet people who don't have her best interests in heart. You see her try to hold on to some friends even though everyone's against her and they all believe it's a Satanist cult. And I'm telling you, there's so much packed into this book. I don't even want to give anything away. She goes through so many things, and then the 20 years after, but there's certain scenes that I laughed out loud, even though it's very dark. So just giving you a warning that there's a lot of things in this, but you will laugh at the same time. It's got that kind of 90s grunge sarcastic humor in it, and it's just a complete and utter joy to read, even with the darkness. So I hope you check it out. And I feel like I love it so much that it's really hard to talk about. But I hope that did it some justice.
That's the worst when it's so good, right?
Yeah. So, oof.
All right, what do we got next?
Okay, The Hidden Life of Cecily Larson. This is our lead read for the season for winter. Lead read, if you and actually I can show you, there's a banner. Let me get to it. So we have this little lead read logo right here. This is a program we do on the sales side at Harper where we get together and we vote for a book that we're all going to get behind for the season. So this is our winter selection. We have a lot of in-house love for it, and it feels very Water for Elephants-y. It seems like a big sweeping novel of a woman and her, or well, not just a woman, it's a family, but it's multi-generational, And yeah, it starts in 1924 with Cecily Larson's mother dropping her off at this orphanage, and her life kind of ricochets from there. Her daughter and her granddaughter are in it too. And oh, they said Orphan Train meets Before We Were Yours meets Water for Elephants. So you know what to expect. Family drama, beautiful writing.
Love the jacket too.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah. So, Dervla McTiernan, what else do I need to say? I know it. Everybody loves her. So excited whenever we have a new book out by Dervla McTiernan. And this one's coming out in March of 2024. She wrote The Murder Rule, which was, huge. And this is a story about two families that are pitted against each other because their children, one young man and one young woman, they go off. They're together. They're a young, beautiful, deeply in love couple. They leave for a family weekend at the guy's family cabin in Vermont, and only he comes home. She does not. What happened to Nina? That's the book. And what um, ultimately ends up happening, of course, is that the families are pitted against each other. The 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 young woman's family go to the police to figure out what's happened, and social media plays a big part in this, and it becomes really not, I don't want to say blown out of proportion, but it's almost exploited, because it just becomes bigger than the people themselves in a weird way. You know what I'm talking about. Um, so the the family wants to know, what's happened and how far they will go to get to the truth regarding her disappearance. So it's for readers of, Tana French and Ruth Ware, and it's convincing and it's complex, and it starts to unravel, and you don't. So many people in house have said I didn't see that coming, and that's from a bunch of seasoned pros who've been reading mysteries, and so when that happens, my ears perk up because that's a fun thing, and it's true. So anyway, this is going to be coming out again in March. But she's got huge fans, Dervla McTiernan, and we're just super, super jazzed to have this book on the list. 100,000 announced print. And we have a great country up there?
We do.
Okie dokie. So this is Shilpi Samaya Gowda. I love her books. If you've not read her, you need to. This is sort of in the vein of Little Fires Everywhere. It's about a close-knit Indian American family and the aftermath of a violent encounter with the police. So it starts off literally with a bang. It takes place in Pacific Hills, California, gated community, just opulence, lots of money. And this is the new home of the Shah family. And the parents who came to America 20 years earlier with, not a lot of money, but their new marriage, their education, they brought that. And this represents where they are now, is a great accumulation of their, their hard work. And their children are born and raised in America. So it's obviously a different take on success because of that, their generational divide. So they are, so this, as I say, the story starts out right away with a violent act. And you start to see how this family starts to unravel. She does characters so well. And the dialogue is great. The interpersonal relationships are wonderful. She's known for her, great book club fiction, and they're beautifully rendered. And this novel is just about a family that starts out with, the couple enjoying their a wonderful, you know, sort of, just very opulent dinner party. And at the same time, their son is being arrested, and you don't know why. But the two daughters are lying about their own whereabouts. It becomes very political, and it examines race and classism, and it is an important read. I love her books. I really do. I love her books. I don't want to give too much away, but she's so wonderful. She's just a brilliant, brilliant, thoughtful writer. So that is A Great Country, which comes out in March. Can't wait for you to read it and tell us what you think about it.
Mhm. Okay, so I have My Name is Eden next. I'm going to see if they don't have an image, so I'm going to take it down while I tell you about this one, but hopefully the jacket will be up soon. This is My Name Was Eden by Eleanor Barker White, and this is a new voice in psychological suspense. It's really cool. It's a creepy debut. When the daughter Eden of this woman Eden comes home from the hospital, Lucy was profoundly relieved. Eden had survived a drowning accident and didn't have really any apparent brain damage, thankfully. But what's interesting is that Eden tells her after this big incident that Eden isn't her name. I don't go by Eden until she starts calling herself Eli, the name that Lucy had reserved for Eden's unborn twin. And don't worry, the doctor says that's fine, of course. And her husband says it's fine, but then Eden says, yeah, I'm fine. But she has a strange smile now. And she says, I didn't die. I'm here. Creepy. And Lucy knows something's wrong with Eden. She's not her complicated teenage girl anymore. She's kind of a straight-backed, even-tempered, steady-eyed child that's very different entirely. And this seems to really kind of be more the twin that was never there. And so I think it's got a lot of book club appeal. There's this theme of motherhood, but it talks about postpartum depression and fraught marriages, secrets and lies. And past trauma provides a lot of conversation that this book club will want to get into if you choose it. So we're getting a lot of quotes early for this one. If you're a fan of, we need to talk about Kevin, this is perfect for that reader. And there are other comps, The Push and The Undoing. And the author actually wrote a behind the book piece that was really interesting, asking about inspiration and why it was important for today's readers. And she actually experienced vanishing twin syndrome, VTS, during her own pregnancy. So she wanted to dive into that and write about it. And I will leave you with that. And you can go Google more about that and read more from this author. We're excited for it. So let me pull up the date. It comes out in February. My Name Was Eden. And, we don't have a cover, but hopefully soon. And we'll get reading material. And then While Idaho Slept. So this is it's exactly what it sounds like. I'm loving this read. It's a great narrative nonfiction, but if you're a true crime fan, it's perfect. It's exactly what you want. If you're looking for your next true crime read, I would suggest this one. It's an interesting one. So While Idaho Slept, it's all about the Idaho college murders that happened in November. You've seen everything about it. I've seen everything about it on the news. I just didn't necessarily have a full picture of what happened. And there's even some stuff that hasn't really been covered that's in this book. It is by the author of The Kill Jar, which was part memoir, and he actually is a PI in Idaho, so knows it well. And then it has your traditional, like, here's the timeline, here's everything that happened, this is A, B, C, D. But it also takes a lot of care with these victims, telling you about them, telling about their family, what their lives were like, what are the repercussions of this thing that happened to them, or, well, not this thing that happened to them, this terrible murder, and the families, how they're dealing with that. So, the true crime narrative, it's got everything you want. But what I think is really interesting it's got this third element in it, and they talk a lot about online sleuths and what that means for this investigation and investigations going forward, because we really haven't had such a gruesome group of murders with that element in there so nationally known, or so not very much. So this is a new world and kind of caught relatively soon. This person who, well, allegedly, we'll say, but they have a suspect that was caught pretty soon, who was caught pretty soon. So I think this one's really interesting. It has everything you want with a little extra, and it's a really great read. So that's While Idaho Slept, and it is out in October, so pretty soon. And the Galley's up.
So we have Day of Dialogue coming up. We're going to talk about Margot's Got Money Troubles. Is that what you're-
Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't have an image. Let me see.
Oh.
It has a. That's why it didn't come up. It does not, and it does not have a author photo. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Let me just talk about it quickly, and then for 2 seconds, and then we'll just give you an overview of Day of Dialogue, Library Journal's Day of Dialogue. And we've got, I think, 7 authors at that, and so super jazzed to have that coming up soon. But this one book that's getting a lot of buzz, and it's early still, which is why we don't have a jacket or an author photo. But you'll be hearing more about this book, but just wanted to get it on your radar. It's called Margot's Got Money Troubles, and it's by Rufi Thorpe, who is the she was a finalist for see, let me make sure I get this right. Da, 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 da. Okay, she wrote The Knockout Queen in 2021, which was a Penn Faulkner finalist for the Penn Faulkner Award. And she was named a Kirkus Fiction Writer to Discover in 2020. Her first novel, The Girls from Corona del Mar, was longlisted for the 2014 International Dylan Thomas Prize. So she's obviously got the chops, and she's got a wonderful following. If you are a fan of Kevin Wilson, of Cynthia D'Aprile-Sweeney, Chloe Benjamin, these are the people that are fans of hers. And so this is a very funny novel about a woman, Margot Millette, who's got money troubles. She is the child of a Hooters waitress and an ex-pro wrestler. So she wants to make it on her own. She thinks her choices might be limited, but she enrolls in her local junior college, and she's figuring things out, and at the same time has an affair with her English professor and becomes pregnant. So she decides to keep the professors out of the picture. She decides to keep the baby, and she's 20 years old. And so she's unemployed, she's got a baby now, and she's on the verge of eviction, and she's got money troubles. And her father, the former pro wrestler, enters the picture. His name is Jinx. And he asks her, he's down on his luck, and he asks her if he can move in with her. And she agrees in exchange for help with taking care of the baby. And so she starts to form this plan. She starts this site, OnlyFans, it's called, as an experiment, and finds herself adapting some of her father's advice from the world of wrestling, and how she starts to how to craft a compelling character and make your audience fall in love with you. Before you know it, she's turned this online thing into this runaway success, and maybe this is going to be the answer to all of her problems. But it's very funny. There's a lot of insight, and there's this young woman who is trying to keep her head above water, but also to she's struggling with this world that has little interest in giving much to her, but it's fun. It's a great coming into your own, both online and off. So it's got great book club appeal. There are wonderful quotes in already. As I said, Kevin Wilson is a big fan of this book. Let me see. Here's his quote. Margot's Got Money Troubles is an audacious, wildly funny, completely unpredictable novel by a writer so singular that it's hard to compare her to anyone else. Rufi Thorpe writes wildness so well. the messiness of the choices we make, the strange ways we bend and twist ourselves to accommodate those choices. And she does it with the rare qualities of tenderness and empathy. An absolutely brilliant book. If you haven't read Kevin Wilson, start with Nothing to See Here. And boy, he knows of what he speaks, because that's what he does in that book. It's really just so, and that's very full circle what he was saying in that quote. Anyway, the quotes just are coming in, and it's early. This is 100,000 announced print. It's coming out in June. You're going to hear a lot about this book. We're going to be talking about this book, and maybe we can even have her on. That would be super fun. Anyway, this is she's a writer's writer, has a lot of fans, and we're excited for Margot's Got Money Troubles. I think it's going to be a very relatable book, especially for sort of the Gen Zers, because there's a lot of stuff in here about the internet natives, and so that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to share the Library Journal Day of Dialogue. I put the link in there. It's a free event, so you can sign up and get your spot. It's October 26th. We have some exciting authors coming. The books are in the Edelweiss catalog, but some of them don't have cover. So I'm just gonna show you this page really quickly before we go back. So you can see the whole list of authors, everybody coming. Our booth is going to be super fun. So stop by the booth. It will have a buzz probably in the morning. So more information to come, but sign up for it there. And then we don't have a cover for the first one, Virginia.
For which one is that, Lainey?
Joyanne Reed.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that we're still waiting on, but super excited to have Joyanne Reed participating in Day of Dialogue. We Day of Dialogue is amazing, because they have to accommodate so many publishers, right? And there are some panels that are pre-recorded, like the one with Sarah Paretsky. There are some panels that are concurrent. Thankfully, it's all recorded, so you can go back and check it out after, because it's impossible to catch it all. But it's all so wonderful, because they do a wonderful job of matchmaking, sort of, in a way, and putting the right authors into the right categories, and then just they just come up with really thoughtful questions for each author pertaining to their book, and there we go. So so Joyanne Reed, Medgar and Merle. So this is their love story, Medgar Evers, and Joyanne Reed is the host of the Read Out on MSNBC, and I watch her every night. I think she's amazing. She's so brilliant. She came to the office once, and I was like fangirling. Anyway, she is she's a New York Times bestselling author. She wrote The Man Who Sold America, and this is about the Merle Beasley meeting Medgar Evers on Merle's first day of college. They fell in love at sight, and they married within the year. And Merle left school to focus on their family. And so Medgar became the field secretary for the Mississippi branch of the NAACP. So this is their story. I don't need to go into the whole ins and outs, because that's the joy of reading the book. But I think this is going to be really, really interesting. We have a big announced print on this book as well. And, it's powerful. It's painful to read. It's powerful to read. It's a thrilling account of two heroes of the civil rights movement. And she uses their relationship to explore on the ground work that went into the basic rights for Black Americans. And the work, as we know, is not done. So she's brilliant. She's brilliant. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. I can't wait to have her. I'd love to have her on to talk about this book. The book goes on sale in February, and super honored to have her at Day of Dialogue. So that's Medgar and Merle, Medgar Evers and the Love Story That Awakened America.
Yeah. And then we have the Sarah Paretsky cover for Page Dirt. It's a why can't I speak?
Warshawski
Novel. Thank you. And then we also have The Great Divide, which I love this cover. It's beautiful. Christina Henriquez. I can't speak today. Henriquez.
Really?
And
Yeah, Christina Enriquez, that is a big book. Lots of buzz on this book. A 250,000 announced print. This was big last year. Remember, lady, they were like, there are some books that, really, this is a novel about the construction of the Panama Canal. The people who labored there, and she's the author of the Book of Unknown Americans. You're going to see this book everywhere. This one goes on sale in March. She's a brilliant writer. And so readers who love Isabel Allende, Ta-Nehisi Coates, will fall in love with this book. It's incredibly researched. And it's this, big sprawling novel, and its approach to history and the characters that made this happen. So they're all in this book, and this incredible novel that's coming out from Echo. Echo does smart stuff. Not that every other imprint at Harper doesn't do smart stuff, but it's just that touch that that it's the combination, I think, of literary and just this, sort of informative and wonderful and broad scope story. I can hear a lot about that one.
Yeah. And then Poor Dear by Claire Oshetsky.
Wait.
Yeah.
Where is Grace?
I know. Loves this book. The author wrote Chouette, and that was a Penn Faulkner nominee. So, this just beautiful writing, and it's tender. It's about a girl who is grappling with her role in a tragic loss. And this author, their words are intense and beautiful. So that's a cool cover too. It's an interesting cover.
It is. Yeah. And then we have The Queen of Sugar Hill by Rashonda Tate. This is a novel of Hattie McDaniel. And this is another impeccably researched novel, a portrait of her, this underappreciated star. She was the first Black person ever to win an Oscar for her role as Mammy in Gone with the Wind. And it'll tear your heart out. It's also very inspirational what she did, what she put up with. And so, she went through a lot, and she continued to pave the way for other Black actors while focusing on war efforts and fighting housing discrimination and a bunch of failed marriages. But she had a group of friends to help her out. Clark Gable and Dorothy Dandridge did a wonderful book about Dorothy Dandridge a bunch of years ago. Anyway, I'm very excited for this book. Rashonda Tate has the chops for this. She's a wonderful writer, and she's a 3-time nominee and previous winner of the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Literature. So this is going to be wild and inspirational and educational, and people need to know about this woman and what she went through.
And then Andrew Graff's True North. We had his first book, Raft of Stars, and that was a powerful debut. Another Echo author. That was a really powerful debut. We're excited to have another one.
Yeah, he's great. If you didn't read that book, Raft of Stars, which is just beautiful, he's a wonderful writer, and he writes of what he knows. This is a story that merges whitewater rafting and navigating a marriage that might have come to still waters. And so it's this couple that navigates change in their family. And he he grew up fishing, hiking, and hunting in Wisconsin's Northwoods. He did a tour of duty in Afghanistan. He's a wonderful writer. He writes what he knows. And so when this book and there's if you go on Edelweiss, there's a great piece. I'm going to pull it up. There's a great author's note. I'm going to read this first paragraph, this author's note. You can all check it out. Dear reader, a marriage can be hard, a wild river can be a teacher, and this novel is my way of selling everything I own and becoming a raft guide without asking my wife and kids to live in a van. True North, at once a love letter to a wild river from my own past and a call for those deep in the married with kids phase of life to persevere. It's my hope we stand to gain much on the far side of what can feel like wilderness. It's so beautiful. And it's yeah, it's a great page turner because it's novel, but it's about these two people who the guy goes ahead and it's 1993 and he's got a wife and a big old Winnebago and 3 kids, and they're adventurous river guides, but then they find themselves weighted down with money worries, and he thinks that they need to start anew, and you go from there. You'll see. He does things that he should tell his wife and he doesn't, and it's beautiful.
We have some good comments. Pam Gardow said, I'm looking forward to this novel by a Wisconsin author. And then Lillian said she's looking forward to a new one. And Sense of Place is fabulous, Pam, yes. And Lillian said the book about Hattie McDaniel is long overdue.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see, anything else? Yeah, a lot of love for True North.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, definitely read the letter in the Edelweiss. It's right there, and it's just. He says, hoping to trade the comforts of suburbia for far less stress. These 2 characters, the husband and wife, soon face their greatest struggles ever as the brand new owners of a floundering rafting company in northern Wisconsin. When the marriage begins to crack and finances truly wobble, even the river itself becomes threatened by environmental concerns, as real today as they were during the floods of 1993. This novel depicts. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, because there's that whole aspect of it too, that they want to, there's, there are companies that want to come in and sort of, plow and raise and take away the beauty. And so there's lots of stuff going on. All right.
Last but not least.
What do we got? Oh, you got that one, Lee?
I do. Survivors of the Clotilda. So this is exactly what it sounds like. Great nonfiction, all about the last captives that came on the last American slave ship. If you read Barracoon, this Zora Hurston book that we published not long ago, I was fascinated by that person's story of this last ship that they kind of gaslit and said it never happened, but it did, and they found it off the coast. They burned it, so it's true. I mean, not that we didn't believe him, but some people didn't. And so this is the story of all of those people who came over on the last one and what they did to keep it out of the news. Very excited. And Hannah Durkin is a historian specializing in the transatlantic slavery and African diasporic art and culture. She holds a PhD in American Studies from the University of Nottingham and postgraduate, it goes on. She's got a degree in journalism, and she's a guest researcher in Sweden for this, an advisor of the History Museum of Mobile, knows of what she speaks, and a keynote speaker at Africa Town's 2021 Spirit of Our Ancestors Festival, founded by the Clotilda Descendants Association. So this is going to be a amazing record of this, and she's the person to do it.
I went online and looked at went down a little rabbit hole about that, and the images that you can find online. It's they show sort of the ship is exposed. It's really Quite moving. I want to go back for 1 second because we've kind of, we've talked about all of the 7 authors who will be at Day of Dialogue. So again, register and watch. And if you can't register anyway, and then you can catch it for a couple of months after that day is over. But just getting back to Sarah Paretsky's book, Pay Dirt, to give it its, its due, because, we love her. And so this is the 23rd book in the V.I. Warshawski series. And she's the legendary detective, and Sarah Paretsky is the master of twisting procedurals, and no one's going to see this end coming either. But in this one, Warshawski uncovers a mystery with roots dating back to the Civil War. So that's very interesting. I don't know if anybody was at ALA a bunch of years ago when Sarah Paretsky was the speaker at the Andrew Carnegie Awards. It was amazing. She's been a huge supporter of us and what we do on behalf of librarians. And she, anytime she can get to a library, she will. She is just so wonderful, a wonderful person and a wonderful writer. And fans are excited for this one, of course, because these stories never get old. There's always great twists and turns. It's coming out in April 2024. She is the original female private detective, and she's still as relevant as ever. So don't miss it. I think so she will be on a panel at Day of Dialogue with some other wonderful authors. So that's going to be great. I think we've gotten through everything. Is that right, Lainey?
I'm muted. The one reminder is that we have our big world famous book buzz coming up on the 25th next week. So be sure to tune in. I put the link in the chats. You can sign up. It's a Library Journal webinar, but it's only us. It's all of us for 75 minutes. So can't get away from us. And we're going to have lots of stuff to talk about. If you missed ALA, we'll have a few things that we talked about, but it's going to be a lot of new stuff. So even if you went to ALA, you'll want to come to this and see what we have up our sleeves.
Yeah, we have a couple of things up our sleeves. But yeah, that's good. It's thank you, Lainey, for reminding people. That will be through Library Journal. Again, we'll have 75 minutes. We'll go as quickly as we can to get through as many titles as we can. It's lovely to not have to, we have more time, obviously, than the usual, 10 or 12 minutes when we're with other publishers. So there will be some things from ALA, but we're really looking forward to, we'll be talking about winter, spring, which is fun. So, because I think at this point, if we're talking about books that are coming out in, November, December, you kind of know about them. So I think that half the fun is learning about books and us learning about books and telling you about books really that are coming out in the spring. So that's cool. So the registration is there for Day of Dialogue. Registration is there for our world famous book buzz part 7024. What else?
It's a holiday, a Jewish holiday on the 25th. So they asked if it's going to be recorded. Yes, it will be. You can watch a replay.
Yes, we are limited on time. We're off to the the Association of Rural and Small Libraries day after tomorrow. So we will be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we have our webinar on Monday, which is unfortunate that it conflicts with a holiday, but we couldn't do it any other way because we also have planning. There's so many things going on.
No, but it will be recorded, so don't worry.
Yeah, we're never far away.
Of course, Evelyn. She said thank you. I think that's it.
2:52. How are you? Anybody have any questions for us? We have a little bit of time. Lainey and Grace and I did a presentation to our marketing department to let them know about all the things we do. Lainey, you want to tell them about Bookmark by Lainey?
Mention it? Yeah, I'll put the link in there. Let me find it.
Yeah.
Bookmarked is like a recommendation shelf talker, but virtual, and it's all some of the books I talked about today will be in there. Just all the ones I'm loving and kind of digestible, exactly what you need to know. Like if you're at the good reader's advisory tool, if you need a sentence or two of what something's about to the essence. And it also is color coded by genre, so you can check out different things at a glance. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I hope that you find it helpful. But yeah, because it's kind of, I don't know, sometimes I'm a weird reader and you're like, I might not pick that up, why should I? So I tell you.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really wonderful. It's a great. Lainey's always saying, "What about this book?" And there's for every hat there's a head, and so I think that it's just an exciting way. We're always trying to find new ways to shine the spotlight, and there are only so many different opportunities that we have, and so we just felt like, okay, let's not overwhelm people, but let's pull out some things that are coming up. Right now, I think there are books that are out now, but in the future, there'll be books that are coming up so that you get a sense of, what's going on there. So it's just one more way to, showcase our titles. And I think that's it. Are there any more questions or comments or people saying?
So. Oh, the Edelweiss catalog is at the bottom on Crowdcast. And I also put it in both chats. So somebody said, thank you. That was really helpful. I'm glad it's helpful. And you can see what's available or make note of things when they do become available because it'll update. So,
yeah. Yeah. So writers to watch. 5 minutes with. That's another thing that we're doing. 5 minutes with an author. So if we have an author that wants to spread the word about their book, they talk to their camera for 5 minutes and up it goes. So, there's all different ways. If there's anything that you all want us to focus on or you want to hear about, we are all ears. We know that you have limited time. So, just we want to do what's right for you all. What's helpful, So.
Someone mentioned cookbooks. And so we always know that that's something everybody wants. So we keep that in mind. Maybe next time we'll have some cookbooks.
I believe we're going to have a pasta day.
Oh, that's
based on Pastalicious.
Impostable? Is that
Impostable? What is that? All right. Anyway, you'll see.
Anyway. Yeah, we know. Thank you for reminding. We definitely want to get more cookbooks in.
Yes, we did have a poll a month or two ago where we asked people what sort of pasta did they see themselves as, and I thought that was really funny because so many people were like rotilli or whatever it was. I don't know.
I think some people just made pastas up because I was like, I've never heard of that, but I love it. Possibilities.
What?
Possibilities.
Possibilities. Yes. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna have we're gonna do it. We did that a couple of times. We cooked stuff. We brought it in. We burned our apartment down. But hey, we kept on going. So yeah, we'll do that. But no, seriously, we should. Who wrote in about the cookbooks?
Anna Raquel.
Okay. Well, honestly, I guess maybe we should just do like a round robin of some very different cookbooks, because we should do more of those. We've done some, and we'll do our pasta thingy because it will be super fun and yummy. But I think, yes, thank you for that suggestion. And I think that's good because we have tons of different kinds of cookbooks, that address all different kinds of people who are on the run, people who are gluten-free, people who, all that. So yeah, let's do that. We'll do that.
Yeah. I know. I thought of one that just came out I think a week ago. I Could Nosh, that book. That one looks here. I have it actually, and I'll put it in the group of books, but I have it up because I was just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of perfect.
It's actually very perfect, Lainey.
Yeah. Revamped for every day. And like, here's some images. Let's see. This one looks so yummy.
Give it. I wish that was a scratch and snap. What is that? Venus spinach baraka.
Rolls. And then turkey club. That looks so good. Now I'm hungry. Leftovers. So it's like a mix of look at it.
Pretty.
Yum. So that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wait, can you go back to that slide, Lainey? That pink last one.
The cookies?
No, it was the other one, and it said
Oh, the
something about
first one.
overs. Nothing, the Breakfast and the Furious, nothing to smear, but smear itself. I love it.
Yeah, it's it mixes like traditional and modern influence. So, and then it's kind of, and it's funny. So yeah, and it's also just like eye candy. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Kind of reminds me of the my favorite cookbook, the Chicano Eats. Is that the
Oh
first
yeah.
one? And there was bakes after. Those were like, just the images themselves were so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
Guess
look, we're
what?
putting it in there.
All right, we're gonna
So
do that. We're gonna focus on cookbooks. You see, ask, and we shall hopefully not burn the place down. All right.
Uh,
Well, anybody else? It's 2:59.
yeah, I think we just do one roundup, but I think we got it all.
Good.
Thanks, looks delicious. Avid cookbook collector with 7,000 of them, Anna says.
Ah,
That's amazing.
she does not live in a one-bedroom apartment in Queens.
I think we're good on Facebook, and let's see, anything else on, well, let me get to Crowdcast. Anything else? The Great Impasta. There's a lot of pasta puns, which I appreciate. 5 Minutes With, where do you find it? That's a good question. It's on our
Library Love
YouTube
Fest.
channel, but it's on Library Love Fest as well. There's a tile on the bottom right on the side, but it's also on our YouTube channel. So either way.
That's a really cool thing because I love knowing ahead of time how long is this going to be, right? Because everybody's busy. It's 5 minutes, and they send it to us. They've told us what they want to us and readers and librarians to know about their book and about them. So if you can spare 5 minutes, and then we're not doing it with just, we're being selective about, how it's how many we can do, because there's only so much that we can post. But also trying to be very varied, among readers, readerships. So yeah, check it out. Pretty neat. It's a pretty neat thing to do.
Yeah.
So
It started with Kate White. We called her up and we were asking 5 questions, and they're like, this is perfect. Like, why don't we just do 5 Minutes With? And it kind of became a thing.
yeah, usually it's the easy part is to come up with the title, the name of the thing. I have to fill in the blank. Ugh.
Like literally 5 Minutes With, that one is that one's not our most witty. It's just pretty out there.
Yeah, it's like it's 5 minutes with. Let's go. Oh yeah.
You know what you're getting.
That's right. That's right. No horsing around. All right. It's
Nay.
Nay. Okay.
All right.
Well, everyone, thank you for chiming in, checking us out, listening to us, and for giving us your feedback. The feedback, honestly, please don't be shy, because we're going to put the work in anyway. So for these presentations that we do, I mean, this is fun. This is us sort of just, telling you what we think is jazzy and it's coming up. But then when we do those big presentations, we're going to do that work anyway. So we want to know what you need to know.
Oh, sorry, I got another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Retired librarian, can you still join Day of Dialogue? Yes, it is a free event, so sign on it.
Yes, don't be shy. But getting back to what you need, like if you're thinking like, I know about these winter things, tell me summer. Tell me it's mid-September. Do you not want to know about winter? Or do we're doing enough nonfiction, whatever. Like I love the idea of the cookbook. I love that, so please, those comments come. You can always email us if you don't want to, if you're logged off or you're watching this later, just email us. Tell us. All right. Well, Lainey.
I think that's it. That's all, folks.
Bye. Hope you can join us on Monday.
Yeah.
After we're back from Arcel in Wichita.